20 hits, a relatively easy 13-3 win. Yesterday, the A's started fast, a 4-run burst, cruising in the late innings. Today, Tanner Roark faces Sonny Gray. It's the series finale from Oakland. Beautiful day in Oakland, California. Welcome to the Coliseum. It's the rubber game for the weekend series, and they get here by BART, Bay Area Rapid Transit. And yeah, there are some Nats fans approaching the ballpark. Here they are. They're going to be making noise and rooting their guys to a series win today, we hope. And the Nats would love to grab this one, headed down to LA and tough Dodger Stadium. Bob and FP, it's so great to have Bryce Harper back in the lineup. You can do without a guy like that for a couple of days, maybe a week, but after a while, you really need him in there.
And even if he's not going good, just the presence in the lineup, but he is going good. So the lineup got a lot stronger today. Bryce with 3 days off. He's fresh and ready to go and start raking here in a place that he's watched balls fly the first 2 games of this series. Look out for Bryce Harper today.
Yeah, he's thinking, I won some of that Coliseum Day baseball. Tanner Roark gets the call for the Nats today. Last couple of times out, it looks like the Tanner Roark who's been so great for the last 2 years.
Well, keep an eye on the swing back fastball. It's been good for him lately. He's been able to put lefties away, backdoor to righties. The last 14 innings for Tanner Roark, he's given up just 1 earned run. That's a 0.64 ERA in his last 2 starts. And Sonny Gray coming off a tough one last time out. He gave up a bunch of runs, 7 in just 4 2/3 against the Cleveland Indians. Keep an eye on his curveball. It's a good one, but he hasn't been able to throw it for a strike consistently this year.
He better keep an eye on Daniel Murphy, because Murphy has been amazing. He's 13 for 23 in his last 5 games, 4 extra base hits, 3 doubles, a homer. Murph is up to number 3 in the National League at hitting now, a robust 343. Rubber game straight ahead. And brought to you by PNC Bank. For the achiever in you. By American Standard Heating and Air. Go to MidAtlanticComfort.com for special offers and to find a dealer near you. And by Annapolis Arts Week, a week-long celebration of Annapolis art and culture. Find the complete schedule of events at AnnapolisArtsWeek.com. Beautiful day in the East Bay. And a fantastic setting here at the Coliseum for the Nats and the Oakland Athletics. 68 degrees. Flags moving a bit inside this round, cavernous ballpark, where the A's are 16-11 on the year. The Nats are 18-11 on the road. Anthony Rendon back in there today, coming off a day off. 410 his last 10 ball games, slugging well. The RBIs, everything adding up for Anthony Rendon, who had a 2-for-5 night with a homer and 3 RBIs here. On Friday, Ryan Zimmerman gets the DH. Brian Goodwin can't get him out of the lineup. He's in left for Jason Worth, nursing a sore foot. And, of course, Bryce Harper in there. Sonny Gray and Tanner Roark met each other, back, at least pitched against each other, May 10th of 14 right here. Both pitched well. The A's won that game in 10 innings.
Yeah, and who knows if they met each other. You never know. Last start on the 30th against Cleveland, 9-4 loss. 4 2/3, 7 runs on 9 hits for Sonny Gray. 3 strikeouts, a couple of walks, 92 pitches. So fastball 90-94. He'll cut the fastball. Curveball is best secondary pitch. When he's going good, he throws that one for a strike, and then he'll bounce it with 2 strikes. There's a defense behind Sonny today. Davis, Joyce, the outfield. Pinder, Plouffe, left side. Lowry, Alonso, right side. Stephen Vogt for Ryan Zimmerman behind home plate.
Sonny Gray, career 40-33, 103rd start. He was on the DL from March 30th through April 30th with a right shoulder thing, and Bryce eager to get back in there today. Saw him come out of the dugout early, hanging around, just kind of looking around the ballpark. 12th year for Scott Berry, the home plate umpire. Brian O'Nora at first. The crew chief is Paul Emmel at second, and Quinn Wolcott is over at third base. So all the pregame noise has abated, and here's Trey Turner to step in. Get us going on a baseball game here on a beautiful day. Even with yesterday's loss, the Nats have still won 9 of their last 12, and it's a 4-1 road trip with LA looming after this one. First matchup between these two.
Play ball.
Hard hit out to short. Long throw for Pinder, and it's picked on a good play at first by Yonder Alonso. Underway at 4:08 DC time.
So Chad Pinder going to the backhand. Good pick by Yonder Alonso. Was his foot on the bag is what I was seeing from up here.
Goodwin.
Looked like it was. Nice play. Goes in the hole. Little short hop. Not a problem.
Yeah, that ball was really hit hard by Trey Turner on the first pitch of the game. Brian Goodwin is next. And Sonny Gray gets the outside edge. Goodwin 5 out of 9 in the series with that big evening on Friday. 10 for 33 in 15 games as a Nat.
Well, the Giants are in Philadelphia right now. I wonder how many Giants fans are here and what kind of reception Bryce Harper is going to get in a second.
Hadn't thought about that.
We're going to get a standing ovation in Dodger Stadium tomorrow if Dodger fans are clued in, which is a big question.
Hunter Strickland, by the way, gave it up to the Phillies last night. Gave up a big bases clearing double to Odubel Herrera in a Phils win there. Baseball taking a good long look at his suspension, and Bryce's is over. So the Nats won 2 out of 3 with Harper not in the lineup.
Something in his eye. Scott Berry. Ball in the dirt. Maybe some dirt flew up.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Goodwin, a hard-breaking ball. Wow, 94, cutting down and in. 2 outs, and here's Bryce Harper.
So he's ready to go, 3 days off. And happy to be back at the yard, right? Signing autographs, sitting on the bench, ready to go. First guy out there, it seemed like. So I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to go first pitch ambush. It's been a while since he swung the bat. Here we go.
And there were a lot of boos a moment ago when they introduced him, but a lot of cheers too. Harper has never faced Sonny Gray. In fact, only in the lineup today, Rendon, Lind, and Wieters have. Then he throws the heater by him. Other than a couple of right-handed jabs, Bryce without a hit on this road trip. And the breaking ball to dirt strikes him out, and the Nats are done in the top of the first. Sonny Gray showing some serious stuff coming out of the gate. (1964). Baseball capacity just over 35,000, and the A's have played pretty well here, especially compared to how they played on the road. Ryan Healy, huge day yesterday with a couple of homers, couple of doubles. He's now 6th in the American League with 25 extra base hits, and his batting average is just under 280. They're going to find a place for him in the lineup, and today again he's DHing. He's been at third base 1 game in the series. And here's Tanner Roark, who pitched in that game against Sonny Gray back in 14.
Second consecutive strong start last time out against the Giants. 7 shutout innings, 6 hits, 6 strikeouts, 112 pitch effort. Over the last 2 starts, he's allowed 1 earned run in 14 innings. It's a 0.64 ERA. So fastball, slider, curveball change. The change probably his best pitch last start against the Giants.
Waiting for Matt Joyce to dig in, and here we go. Joyce in the series, a homer Friday night, 1 for 6, 3 walks. Counts even. In the lineup today for A's, Joyce, Chris Davis, Yonder Alonso, and Trevor Plouffe have faced Tanner Roark, who throws a big looping curveball, gets a ground ball to Trey Turner.
So Jason Worth with the day off. He fouled that ball off his foot yesterday last at bat. So Brian Goodwin in left. Turner Rendon left side. Murphy Lynn right side. Matt Wieters behind the plate. And that guy is back in right field. You remember him. Bryce Harper. Bruce. Everywhere we go, right? Except for tomorrow.
They might cheer him for one at bat. Then we'll see how it goes after that. So here's the shortstop, Pinder. Nats have kept him hitless first 2 games of the series. He'll sky one to left center. Ryan Goodwin just to the right of that 362 mark for a quick second out. Pinder now 0 for 8 against the Nats and 0 for his last 11. Next up is the sweet swinging right now, Jed Lowry.
A pretty good series for Jed. Had a big day
Third
yesterday.
position, second baseman, number 8.
Leads the American League in doubles with 18,
Lowry.
hitting .343 at home.
Home run and a pair of doubles yesterday.
Faces Roark for the first time. Veteran, 10th year in the big leagues, is one with the Red Sox, Astros, twice with the A's around a stint in Houston back in 15.
How many double ear flap guys are left in the big leagues?
Not many.
The helmet.
A switch hitter just goes with one helmet.
And that looks like the big beefy protective helmet. Like maybe he's had some concussion issues. Look at how big that thing is. That's the great Gazoo helmet.
Right in there, Roark with 92.
For all you Fred Flintstone fans out there.
Chris Davis on deck. That's a swing back fastball that just missed.
Well, that's the key, right? And I think that's why his pitch count was running up real high his first 3 or 4 starts, because having trouble getting a feel for that. Loosen the grip, like Dan said. And he's got a better feel.
This is a long run for Goodwin. Into foul ground. He'll get there and drop it. The home plate area from the bullpen was approaching, but that's pretty flush to the ground. And we'll see what the scorer does. He's been giving out errors like candy this weekend.
Like candy on Halloween. Long run for Brian Goodwin. So your head's shaking right about here, and then I don't know if sun was a factor. I don't think so. That's a play that maybe he put his glove right in front of his eyes and he lost sight of the baseball the last 2 or 3 feet.
Roark comes back to get a ground ball. He fans on it, looking for a backhand, but Turner grabs it. And Tanner Roark, a really good bottom of the first. Couple of grounders around a fly ball.
head top 2. As we said, Bryce Harper back after serving his 3-game suspension and took that time to go back to Vegas, spent time with his family. Said that he used the days off mostly to mentally decompress. Hung out with his nieces and nephews and got out of what he said was 100+ degree heat back in Vegas. He said it was weird to be back home during the middle of the season. That's not something that he's used to doing. He's happy the suspension is out of the way and can kind of move on from it, and said that he wanted to get the suspension done, obviously before heading back home to DC, but also before going out to LA. He said that's a big series against the Dodgers, and guys, he always enjoys playing at Dodger Stadium. So Bryce quickly getting that appeal heard while Hunter Strickland is still playing, waiting for his appeal to get heard. Bryce getting those 3 games out of the way, and now he's back with the ball club.
Glad to have him. Here's Ryan Zimmerman, 2nd inning, first pitch, base hit. Surprise Pinder threw it, and Ryan Zimmerman has his 4th hit of the series. And by the way, that was Dan with our Coons.com sideline report.
Well, there goes the no-hitter, and there goes Bryce getting hitter. Remember this? Oh, right hook. And then Jeff Samardzija came in and did some damage right about here. And Michael Morse had to miss some ball games, still missing some ball games because of that. And watch the security guy. Look at security. Security, can you please help us carry this guy off the field into the dugout? Thank you. What was he doing right there?
Well, he was ready if Hunter Strickland had escaped those 3 teammates and gone back out.
I'm telling you, I can't believe that Jeff Samardzija skated with no suspension. I mean, if he hit Bryce Harper, Bryce wouldn't be sitting right there right now. He'd be on the disabled list.
Yeah, there's no doubt that Samardzija was going for a blindside hit. Daniel Murphy, 7 for 11 against the A's. Strike call from Sonny Gray. Ryan Zimmerman, by the way, with that base hit a moment ago, 12 for his last 28. Murphy to the right side, and the A's will turn that into 2. Lowry to Pinder to Alonso. Just like that, base is empty, 2 outs.
Watch Murph run to first base. He had a double play, hit it hard, but he looked okay after getting drilled in the knee yesterday. So, I mean, that's the good news. This was his last at-bat yesterday. Drilled right in the right knee, got up, went to first base, shook it off, and he just looked good run to first, even though he hit into a double play. So thank goodness he's okay.
Yeah, that's yesterday. So Anthony Rendon with 2 outs now. 1 for 3 career against Sonny Gray. Lind and Wieters have also faced him. They're the next 2 batters if things continue here in the 2nd.
Never was a fan of facing guys like Sonny Gray with that long, slow delivery, and they jump at you with a good fastball late. You know, why is that a big deal? Well, I mean, you're figuring them out right now if you're Anthony Rendon, but they can lull you to sleep. You know, if a guy has, see how slow he is, and then jumps. Yeah, they're all eyes checking him out, see if they can pick up something.
He's got a lot of snap and drop on that curveball right now. Inside the Numbers brought to you by Jeep. So guys who keep on hitting in interleague games. Rendon the day off yesterday, but some interesting names on that list.
Interleague hitting streaks for 1,000, Alex. Take those numbers to arbitration.
Two. Sonny Gray was in the midst of his first 14-win season when he last faced the Nats. He went 14-10 in 2014, 14-7, made the All-Star team the year after that. Had some injury issues since then, on the DL twice last year, and the strained right shoulder right at the end of spring training this time. Rendon staying with that hook, and it's a fly ball out to Matt Joyce. So after Zimmerman's hit, the double play and the fly ball take care of the second. No score.
This moment in eight.
For Tanner Roark on the 24th against Seattle, gave up 1 run in 7 innings. Frustrated a lot of Mariners hitters. Found the touch on the run back fastball. I think that's the key, and he took it all the way out west to San Francisco on the 29th. 7 shutout against the Giants. So last couple of starts for Tanner, 14 innings, 1 earned run. He struck out 14 and walked 1.
71 strikes of his 112 pitches at AT&T Park on Memorial Day. Chris Davis is 1 for 3 career against him. Davis was not in the original lineup today. Mark Canha was in left field, and look what Davis does the first time up. He's going to hit one off the wall just under the 388 mark in left center. It's only his second hit of the series. Back 2 of the last 3 now. Didn't have a hit against the Nats until the 7th inning yesterday.
Well, all of a sudden I like my lineup card before Chris Davis was in there. Like Bob told you, Canha not feeling well. Davis a last-minute replacement. He had the day off today, and he goes first AB double off the left center field wall.
Yeah, right now Davis is their ultimate all-or-nothing hitter. He has 16 homers like Yonder Alonso, who's stepping in, but he's only hitting coming into the game 215. Yonder Alonso's having a great series. Look, he's just under 300. His on-base percentage is just under 400, and they're talking all-star season for him around here.
I said it yesterday late in the game. It hit me, you know, a little late to the party and about the middle of yesterday, how big Yonder Alonso is this year compared to how he's been in the past. He's always been kind of a stocky guy, but he just looks like he spent a lot of time in the weight room, and the numbers show.
The A's don't always have a lot of guys on base, so their 2 big guys with 16 homers have 32 and 34 RBIs respectively. Ryan Zimmerman has 15 homers, 45 RBIs. Bryce has 15 and 43. A's do a lot of solo homering and swinging big for extra base hits. Adam Lind at first base today takes care of that. Chris Davis over to third on the first out. Inside the Numbers brought to you by Jeep, and Tanner leads the way right now.
Batting in the 6th position.
I mean, you're talking about the top 5 guys in the National League, and the Nats have the first 4.
Healy.
I'll bet you a lot of money he's not going to be in the top 5 by the end of the year.
Strasburg and Scherzer could be, because they have such swing and miss stuff, and hard for them to work quick innings.
Gio too, because you know he's all over the place.
Yeah.
Effectively wild, as we always say.
Gio at Dodger Stadium tomorrow night, by the way. Ryan Healy
He had the day of all days yesterday. 2 home runs, 2 doubles.
Drove in 3, and that got him up to 6th in the league. American, that is, with 25 extra base hits. Big, strong guy. 25 years of age, 6'4", 230 plus. And then today they called up another monster, 6'5", 230, Matt Olson, who was tearing it up in AAA Nashville. So the MO in the A's organization right now is big guys who swing hard and hit it a mile if they make contact.
He got 215 and 3 home runs on deck, even though he's left-handed. I'm going to say you don't have to give in here if you're Tanner Roark, even though it's a 2nd inning. You're hoping your ball club's going to score you some runs, but Stephen Vogt can hit, but maybe you get a ground ball out of him. See what he does here in a 2-1 count if he decides to go after him.
Great curveball. Tanner throwing that right out of the gate last inning, and Mercedes-Benz will try to cast it.
But showing you he's not giving in. Base open, 2-1 count, usually a fastball count. Throws the big curveball, and now if you trust Matt Wieters to block it, you could bounce that same pitch.
Healy has struck out 56 times. Fastball up, and it's hit so slowly the run will score. Turner does a good job to get the out at first. Ryan Healy, 28th run batted in. A's on the board in the deciding game of the series.
Well, good job of putting the ball in play with 2 strikes. And Trey Turner's fielded 3 ground balls today, and 2 of them he's jumped. The last out in the first on Jed Lowry, and this one on Ryan Healy. And maybe Dan can ask him for a report why he jumps so much on routine plays. I kind of like to watch it. It seems very comfortable for him, but you normally don't see that with shortstops always jumping. The jump throw by Trey Turner. I feel a Jumpman contract coming in somewhere.
Hoops next door later. Just saying. Outside. 1 ball, 1 strike to Stephen Vogt, the catcher. 215 hitter in the series, 2 for 8, and a run batted in. That is a strong changeup to a lefty. One and 2 count with the bases empty, a run home. Murphy on the grass in right. Turner up the middle. Time given. And that one barely tipped to stay alive.
Try to run it back.
Right on the hands. A lot of room over there, and it's in the air long enough for Anthony Rendon to run it down. Adam Lind will lead off for the Nats. Top 3. Homer yesterday. He's up first.
Adam Lynn, watch this. This is a definition of a hanger. Third inning, second at bat. He doubled his first time up and then got a hanger. And hit his 4th home run of the year and made it a 6-4 game. Remember, it was 6-1 at that time. A couple of guys on. Washington, D.C. Lexus dealers will donate $250 to the Children's National Health System for each of the first 200 home runs the Nats hit this season. Lexus, experience amazing.
Yeah, Nats were right back in the game, and then the bullpen for the A's shut them down on 3 hits the rest of the day after they got Daniel Mengden out in the 5th inning. Didn't qualify for a win. Lind, 2 for 9 career with a walk and an RBI against Sonny Gray. A's in a shift. Pitch number 18. Very nice series. Adam, 21 for 61 in 32 games. Hitting .344. Not that he runs or anything, but the on-base percentage is very impressive at .423 in his part-time role. Target inner half. Right too.
Might have been down, might have been away. Definitely don't want to offer at that pitch until you get 2 strikes. 2 for 9 with a double off Sonny Gray career. Tough to lay off that curveball because a lot of guys that throw a nasty curveball like Sonny Gray, it pops out of their hand fairly high. So as a hitter, you see it above their hand immediately and you recognize the rotation. You say, oh, that's high, that's a curveball. But it seems like, just watching some video on here today, that the curveball comes out lower for Sonny Gray and might appear to be a fastball, and you can't pick up the ball high out of his hand.
Vote wanted that pitch upstairs, and that's where he reaches to grab it. Two with Wieters and Taylor to follow here in the top of the 3rd. That's a swing and a miss. Lynn stands there thinking he might have tipped it after it came out of Stephen Vogt's mitt. Sonny Gray, 3rd strikeout.
Pups in the Park presented by Budweiser, June 10th, 12:05 start against the Rangers. That's Saturday, June 10th, presented by Budweiser. So bring your dog to the yard. Nationals.com/special ticket. They're coming.
I was looking at the schedule. If you're making your Nats baseball plans for next weekend, 12:05, as FP mentioned, Saturday. And then the Sunday game is a 4:05 game against the Rangers. Then the Braves are in for 3.
Is that a guaranteed win day for the Rangers Sunday?
The day after the Nats Dream Foundation Gala?
I
Absolutely not.
I have to say that. Sorry. I don't know what the Nats record is, but maybe it'll change around this year a little bit. I think it will. That's why they scheduled it at 4:05, so you get some time to sleep in on Sunday.
Center fielder, number 3, Michael Taylor.
Dusty's Ball Club, 10.5 up on the Mets, who just lost. In fact, they got pounded today at home by the Pirates, 11-1. Marlins trying to hold on in the 9th inning by a run over Arizona. And the Phillies embroiled in a battle with the Giants, 7-7 late innings there. Giants were supposed to get Hunter Pence back today. Taylor up the middle, looks well placed. Can he beat it out? No. Great play, Jed Lowry getting up the middle and then throwing back the other way. Guys playing some baseball in this series. And for Sonny Gray, 9 batters first 3 innings. Zimmerman the only hit.
today. Look forward to Miller time later in the ball game. That is brought to you by Miller Lite. Yeah, the Miller moment hasn't happened yet. We'll see.
We're waiting. So it's 1-0 Athletics on the Healy RBI. When you have insight, you know how to handle your finances with confidence. Brought to you by PNC Bank. For the Achiever and you, and that's Grant Bourne we're checking in on. He's from Baton Rouge, 6'5", 205, 7th rounder just 2 years ago by the Nats. And so far so good with the numbers. Grant Edmund Bourne.
Is that his real name?
And is he really from Baton Rouge?
I don't know.
Might have been to Europe on many occasions.
Might be.
Trevor Plouffe, bottom of the third. No, the other Bourne spelled differently, sorry.
Don't let the facts get in the way of a dumb joke, ever.
Plouffe hitting 220. Tanner Roark right in there. Faced Tanner a couple of times when with Minnesota last year. 0 for 2. Good looking slider away for the strikeout. And Trevor Plouffe is in a big time slump right now. 0 for 20.
A lane changer right here. See everything down the way. The second pitch in to get him off that slider on the outer half. Good late break. Sharp movement, and Plouffe can't hold up.
Now batting, number 11, Rajai Davis.
There's Rajai Davis. Didn't start yesterday. Waits for that one, and a screamer to the hot corner, and Rendon, 2 outs. Playing shallow against a speedy runner.
Now batting, number 23.
Taking away the bunt, in on the grass. Ball hit on the nose. Not a problem for Anthony Rendon. On his toes. Nice play.
Top of the order, Matt Joyce. Ground ball to Turner to start the A's offensively today. Goes with the hook, and it's down and in. Tanner working quickly, getting the ball back. He's ready. I mean, he's got some kind of off the table thing going with that curveball today.
Quickly, but not in a hurry. And that's been the case the last 2 starts with his tempo. And I feel like maybe 3 starts ago at Pittsburgh, and then the one before that at Philly, he was working too fast, where he was in a hurry. And we talked about how he's loosening his grip on the baseball. He's, you know, gripping it too hard, wouldn't get that movement. So now he's holding it a little looser, getting some late movement. All adjustments you make on the fly in the middle of a season, not easy.
Trying to fade that changeup and get a swing out of it. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Even his delivery to me looks a little bit more under control and slower. Drummers are gassed from yesterday, huh? I mean, they're here today, but they're just not as obnoxious.
I'm not sure as many of them are here today. I didn't hear the sheer volume we had yesterday.
I left it all out there yesterday. I got nothing today.
Yeah, let's hope a 10-run, 11-hit day splintered some drumsticks. I mean, there was even a drumstick on the warning track yesterday.
There was.
Come on. Here's pitch number 9 of this battle. Roark and Joyce. And Matt Joyce saw a lot of those curveballs, and he lays that one. Lays off that one. He's aboard with 2 outs.
Toronto Cavaliers join the Nationals on Saturday, June 24th. We celebrate the first of 7 college days at the ballpark. With a special ticket, University of Virginia students, alumni, and fans will enjoy an outfield reserve ticket and a UVA Nats co-branded New Era hat. Visit nationals.com/special ticket. College Day.
Here's Chad Pinder. Joyce started, then stopped, and it's a pop-up out into shallow center, and here comes Michael A. So Tanner Roark's only given up 1 hit. Sonny Gray 1 hit through 3. A's by 1. Nationals baseball brought to you by the all-wheel drive RAV4 Toyota. What drives you over the Golden Gate Bridge? Visit buyatoyota.com for great deals. They are motoring back and forth today.
Look at those boats in the water going real fast.
Top of the 4th. We are drenched in sunshine. It's beautiful in Oakland. Well, we're in the shade, but they're really enjoying it. Turner, Goodwin, Harper, top of the order, top of the 4th. Sonny Gray is averaging 9 pitches per inning. Turner hit one hard on the first pitch of the game. Pinder played it well at short, threw him out by a half step, maybe closer.
Well, second time around, let's see what they picked up, or if they picked up something off Sonny Gray. Cutter's been good. Doing a nice job of keeping the fastball down, getting some ground balls. Pitching at the bottom of the zone or below so far in this one.
Inside the numbers again with Jeep. This tells you guys who have speed, hit the ball on the ground, and put pressure on opposing infields. And Trey Turner has reached on 9 errors this year. It's a great stat. I'm not sure we've seen that one before, and it sure tells the tale, doesn't it? Brought to you by Jeep.
The graphic should say full panic. That's what happens when he hits a ground ball.
Happened twice yesterday to the shortstop Pinder and the first baseman Alonso in the 3rd and 6th innings.
See how deep they're playing though? Hey, when you play against a fast guy, you cheat in, and then you don't have to panic because you're cutting down your range, but you get to the ball quicker. If I'm playing against Trey Turner right now, I'm 3 steps closer than Chad Pinder is. Almost double play depth, but not quite. And the guy we used to have to do that against was Ichiro. He was so fast when he was a Mariner young.
Yeah.
You know, we'd come in about right there. Well, Telly's not in, but about 3 steps in. So you're cutting down the time. he's running. If you're playing deep, now I catch the ball, it's full panic. You look up and you see he's 4 steps from the base, you throw it away, or you boot it. They're playing too deep.
Yeah, and even if you go 20 feet and cut one off, he's safe anyway. Trey Turner's going to take the walk. Ball gets through. Stephen Vogt and the Nats for the second time today have a leadoff man aboard, and this time it's somebody who can absolutely fly. Trey Turner, 3rd in the National League with 14 steals.
Number 8, Brian Goodwin.
And Sonny Gray quick to the plate. He's a 1-2-7 to 1-4-3, and he'll slide step on occasion. But 1-4-3, probably won't see that against Trey Turner. He'll speed it up here, try to keep him close.
Goodwin struck out on a pitch in the dirt first time. He showed bunt. Got Plouffe on the move in a couple of steps, third base side. Trevor Plouffe way off the line, about 20 feet or so.
Watch Trey try to get his momentum going to second when Sonny Gray picks up his foot. Been watching him do that a lot lately. He's just kind of moving his feet out there, and he's trying to get into a rocking motion where the weight's on his right foot going to second when the pitcher picks up his foot, and he kind of just rolls right through it and gets a monster jump. Yesterday the jump was way too big.
Goodwin squaring again, pulling it back. 2-0. Did you see John Lester actually picked a runner off yesterday?
He did. He had an 18-foot lead, and he finally did it, and he got a standing ovation after he did it.
Threw out Tommy Pham, who was about a 1/4 of the way to second base on his leadoff.
See, he's trying to get the timing. Didn't get it.
Goodwin, hot shot. 3-6-3 double play. Alonso and Pinder. And with Sonny Gray keeping the ball down, his defense has turned 2 of those today.
Yeah, ball hit hard, so now you can double up Brian Goodwin. Good feed by Alonso. Trey Turner didn't slide. You see that?
Batting, number 34,
Just kind of decided to duck here at the last second. They could have called that a double play either way. The fans didn't like the fact that Trey Turner didn't slide. You can hear him booing right now.
Yeah, not a comfortable first day back against this guy and his stuff. Threw Bryce some nasty pitches in the dirt. Struck him out on a curveball. Vogt setting up away. And he's gone 2-0 on another hitter.
Bryce's setup looks a little different to me today. He's a little more open and kind of gliding to the ball than that herky-jerky leg kick that he sometimes does. Maybe he did some work with his dad in Vegas and smoothed it out. Looks good, even though he struck out his first time. I like kind of the rhythm he's got going up there today.
And Bryce all in. Took a little bit off, did Gray at 90. Bryce 15 homers, 43 RBIs. Ball 3.
3 days is a long layoff. There's 2 ways you could look at it. It's going to take him a few at-bats to get back into it, or he's Bryce Harper and he's going to rake because he recharged. We'll see.
He'll take the walk. Second of the inning. That'll get Ryan Zimmerman to the plate, who has the day's only hit for Washington.
Now batting, number 11, Ryan Zimmerman.
So Ryan back on top of the batting race. Pretty healthy lead over Matt Kemp.
Wow.
MLB leaders.
Probably should go to your computer right now and vote for him for the All-Star team. Just saying. It's not really a stretch with those numbers you're looking at real big on your screen.
Was hanging a bit. Zimmerman off to the right. It'll hit on the field, but unreachable for any buddy on the right side. What a day. 68 at game time here in the East Bay. Nats trying to win a series, and they'd love to take a 5-1 road trip down to Dodger Stadium. Hyun, Jin Ryu, and Gio Gonzalez tomorrow. 0-2 to Zimmerman.
I wonder how many fans here today are doing the doubleheader.
Baseball hoops.
Baseball hoops. Finals start at 5 right next door. Like literally, what, 20 steps away, 30 steps away?
Zimmerman strikes out. Sonny Gray nasty with the hook today. He has 4 Ks and 2 double plays. Time for the Unlimited Baseball break, brought to you by T-Mobile. Albert Pujols, 9th man to 600 homers, and he's the first one to do it with a grand slam. He did that middle of the ball game for the Angels last night. 7 slams yesterday around Major League Baseball, including Ian Desmond for the Colorado Rockies. And Aaron Judge, 115 mph, 11 off his bat at that speed this season.
If you're 7'5" and 400 pounds, the ball should come off your bat 115 miles an hour, right?
Well, still got to center it.
True.
That guy, he can hit. First pitch, bottom of the 4th. Long way to go for Goodwin, and that time Brian looking right up into the sun, and we saw this yesterday how tough it is this time of the day. Makes a very fine catch to retire Jed Lowry.
I think he slid at the end for self-preservation. He saw Trey Turner coming out of the corner of his eye, and he just wanted to get low in case Trey Turner was going to come in high. With the sliding catch, long run, not a problem. Tanner appreciating the effort by his left fielder.
Chris Davis on a breaking ball up, and he hits one out to center for Michael A. Taylor. Roark, 2 quick outs in the 4th. He's retired 8 of the last 9 Athletics. Join us and celebrate the 13th annual night out at Nationals Park. Nats Braves, Tuesday the 13th. Be showing pride with other area members of the LGBT community. A portion of ticket proceeds benefit Team DC's scholarship fund. So check out that Nationals link. It's nationals.com/special tickets. You'll find about all the different activities and special nights at the ballpark. Next up is Yonder Alonso here in the 4th.
This is the one guy I'd be careful with in their lineup. He just looks hitterish and dangerous. I mean, he's getting off some good swings. His timing with his lower half is right on time. But he doesn't get cheated, and the numbers kind of bear that out.
Yes, keeping his strikeout total down. Something the Eights can't say mainly as a team. 37 strikeouts for Alonso this year. And he's been up there 145 times as opposed to a lot of his teammates who are in the 60s and the 70s in their strikeout totals. That's some heat upstairs. That was set up with all that curveball stuff. So Daniel Murphy, he's been hitting all kinds of stuff lately. He'll lead off top 5 in a 1-0 game. Flashback to 2005, the A's were at RFK Stadium and Levo just carving them up. He would go 8 innings, 2 runs, a walk, 5 strikeouts. And then Chad Cordero would come on for the save, and the Chief would get his 17th save of the year on June 9th. The Nats swept the A's. That was the 7th of their 10 straight home wins, and the middle of a 26-6 run from May 29th to July 3rd that had the first-year Nationals atop the NL East at the All-Star break. He went from 24 and 25 to 50 and 31. Problem was the second half of the season they went 31 and 50.
That's a problem.
But you talk about a good first impression in a new city. Here we go, top of the 5th with Murphy.
Murph looks kind of shocked that wasn't called a strike. All right, I'll take the 1-0 count. Let's go to work.
Two 2-0. 2 walks, 1 infield hit. So Murphy back on the big boys list at the top of the league in total hits and batting average. He's also 3rd in doubles. He's in the top 10 in extra base hits. Actually now the top 5 after getting another one yesterday. Two-one, off to the left it goes.
Well, the curveball's been the pitch for Sonny Gray with 2 strikes so far, and he's been throwing it real hard. Here it comes. Tried to throw that one too hard. That was an overthrow, shot out of his hand to the right. Now you're all in on a fastball if you're Daniel Murphy. Throw me the curveball here. You got me. Look at the road trip he's having.
Emergency hack as he saw that ball breaking back toward the outside edge.
That's what makes him so good. I mean, you're sitting fastball here. You get 3-2 curveball. And most guys swing and miss or take it. Murph just spoils it. Look at that. That's the definition of spoiling a good pitch. Now you live to fight another pitch and you hope he makes a mistake.
2 hopper to the shortstop. Pinder. Eighth ground ball out for Sonny Gray. Of the 13 he has put on the board so far. Anthony Rendon is next.
Now batting, number 6, Anthony Rendon.
Two for 6 in the series for the Nats third baseman.
And keeping the ball down. 8 ground outs for Sonny Gray. A lot of late movement on the sinker. The cutter's been down. Curveball obviously in the dirt a lot. He's been on point. It's not an easy lineup to navigate through a couple, 2-3 times.
And the fastball sails on him.
Do you ever see Anthony Rendon charging the mound? Maybe. I mean, you'd really have to.
Boy, somebody would have to do something really
like
bad.
hit him 3 times.
He'd probably be smiling at the guys. I'm coming to get you.
I mean, he outwardly looks cool, like he's having fun all the time, but inside there's a fierce competitor in there. I bet you he's done it somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. I don't know.
Unflappable is a good word for him. It's nothing to do with being funny or goofy out there and not caring. Not at all. He'll get after you as much as anybody on this team. Just nothing seems to bug him.
Yeah.
He couldn't tell you if he was 3 for 5 Friday or whatever yesterday. He's playing for today and this at bat. He's going to bounce one back to the pitcher, Sonny Gray. Another ground ball out. And the 5th inning will be up to Adam Lind, who struck out first time up. Inside the Numbers brought to you by PNC Bank. So looking for that upside from where he was a couple of years ago. We mentioned the 2 14-win seasons in 14 and 15, but then a bunch of injuries. The forearm, the trapezius muscle last year, the strained right shoulder out of spring training, put him on the DL March 30th this year. Still a young guy, 27 years of age, 40 big league wins. I wonder if a lot of baseball fans would know, looking at today's matchup, that Tanner Roark has 7 more big league wins than Sonny Gray does.
Well, they do now. And the A's need Sonny Gray to do well for him, because he could be a big trade piece coming up, and they could get some really good talent for Sonny Gray if he continues to pitch well, at least like he's pitching here today so far.
On a busted bat, Adam Lind's going to lift one out to right center. The bat, did it hit Matt Wieters?
Yes. He's got his hands on his knees. It hit him square in the on deck circle right now.
He's walking slowly back to the dugout. Paul Lessard alongside, and Dusty joining in.
Where did it get him? Oh my goodness. Bad news is, I think it got him in the knee. I'm not sure. We watched it a bunch during the break. And we'll show you what we got. Yeah, right above the left knee. My goodness. And the on-deck circles are real close here, too. You know, the only place that you're close in Oakland is when you're standing on deck.
Anxious, scary moment for the Nats. To the bottom of the 5th, Healy, Vogt, and Plouffe, 6, 7, 8 for the A's.
I mean, the on-deck circles here almost behind the hitter because of the configuration behind home plate. Usually an on-deck circle is a little more to the right, but because of the backstop here and the way the tunnels are set to go back, usually a backstop's over here, or on-deck circle's over there in normal parks, or at least at that angle. Look at where Stephen Vogt is on deck. He's almost behind the hitter.
Yeah. Of all the Nats, Jason Worth stands closest to the batter in front of him when he's on deck.
And the reason you do that is you're trying to get a sneak peek of what the guy's stuff is doing before you get up to home plate. The closer you can get, or the better angle you can create, you can see his movement. If you're off to the side, you can't. So hitters are always cheat up as close as they can without grabbing the attention of the pitcher, or he might just launch one at you in the on-deck circle.
Each pitcher has retired 9 of their last 10. Trey Turner is going to get a nice big hop on the last one there.
That's a Sunday hop.
2:18 p.m. Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
5th ground ball out for Tanner Roark today.
Number 21.
Stephen Vogt, the catcher, is next. We got a 1-0 game here. Old-fashioned pitcher's duel on a Sunday afternoon going here. 1-0 ace on a double in the second by Chris Davis. Moved by a ground ball, Yonder Alonso, and then scored on a ground ball by Ryan Healy. That ball is hit hard to right, but he didn't get it. And Bryce Harper will have it for the second out. Peanuts back in town June 8th for a 7-game homestand. Get your Pedro Severino bobblehead on June 10th. Stick around after the game. Fireworks. Kids get to run the bases. 703-590-2311 or PotomacNationals.com. Young Nats catcher getting his bobblehead.
They're waiting for some offense.
Trevor Plouffe, the hitter. Rendon to his left, and he stabs it. Turns around with plenty of time to throw. And how about the Nats? Defense in that 5th inning. They get their boys right back in the dugout. Matt Wieters hopefully okay due to lead off.
Still down 1-0 here in Oakland. There is a new addition to the Nationals clubhouse at home this year. It's a sleep room that is just inside the Nationals clubhouse. Houses 3 beds that players can use before games to sleep, get a quick nap in, or rest up as they kind of battle through a long season. Now, this has been something that was suggested by the Nats training staff last year, but actually became mandated league-wide as part of the new CBA that teams give players a set place to sleep or recover. All the beds in this room are sleep number beds, so players can adjust them to their comfort. They're encased in a canopy to block out light and provide privacy. Matt Iden, the Nats strength and conditioning coach, saying it's a huge benefit for players. Get a quick nap or just find a place to hit the reset button. Guys, I'm looking for a sleep room for the broadcasters. I don't have any word on whether we're getting one of those yet, but honestly, this is something that the players really like and the training staff thinks is a big benefit for these guys.
Yeah, and there is no truth to the rumors that they put on our broadcast to fall asleep in those rooms.
I had $100 on you saying sleep when you're dead at the end of that report. Coons.com sideline report from Dan. When you're talking cars, you're talking Coons.
Yeah, sleep when you're dead. Sleep rooms in the clubhouse. Come on. You know what it would be good for, seriously, is visualization. Put on some tunes and visualize maybe what you want to do in that game and see yourself doing it from a sports psychology standpoint. But otherwise, sleep at night. Like I did last night.
As many of us did. Ball game's into the top of the 6th. One hit. Ryan Zimmerman to deep short. Leading off the second. Double play erased him. Turner a walk in the 4th. Double play erased that. And Harper a walk later that inning. Sonny Gray untouchable, but Tanner Roark too. In fact, Tanner just came off an 8-pitch 5th inning. He has fewer pitches now than Sonny Gray. Wieters just trying to stay alive, reaching down and poking one out of play.
I mean, what do they think of next? I'm still wrapping my head around Dan's report. You know what comes in handy, though, when you think about it, is the guys that have young ones at home that maybe don't sleep through the night. It's always tough for a dad during the baseball season when you have your first kids and they're up all night and you're trying to get your sleep to perform the next day. Anybody out there can relate that had to go to work when you had your kids young or have them right now. So maybe you just like sneak off to the ballpark a little bit earlier and then crash. He probably knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Steven Brilliant here. Friday night, 100 pitches, 64 strikes, 7 strong innings. He is 7-1. That's up and away to Matt Wieters. He's had to work hard in this at bat, and the count's full. That's looking for base runners any way they can get them against Sonny Gray. Lays off the curveball. No swing, confirms Quinn Wolcott down at 3rd. And this is the 3rd time out of 6 innings the Nats have had their leadoff man on.
Good at bat, good take. Getting late.
Now batting, number 3, Michael Taylor.
I think Sonny Gray's shown enough command where Michael A. Taylor can be aggressive here early in the count. Try to run into one. He's walked 3 guys, but I think the Bryce Harper one was by design in a 1-run game. He didn't want anything to do with Bryce.
Yeah, Michael sees a heater. Time to get on it.
That's down. Do you hear the dugout screaming right after it? You can hear him still screaming right now.
Mercedes-Benz on the pitch cast. Yeah, if if it's outside that box, it's really low.
I don't know what Michael A. Taylor did to this umpiring crew, but they're giving him a rough time.
He got a breaking ball, hits it out to center. That ball's on the ground in front of Rajay Davis. 2 on, nobody out.
Well, that ball was up in the air a long time. I thought Rajay Davis was going to come in and catch it. He decided to play it on a hop. So swing first, curveball up from Sonny Gray. Haven't seen it up there. And Michael A. Taylor with another beautiful swing. But watch how long this stays in the air. I thought if he kept coming toward home plate, he catches that easily. But the Nats will take it. Runners on 1st and 2nd. Nobody out. Game on. You bunt here if you're Trey Turner.
Yeah, every Oakland infielder was looking toward the 3rd base dugout a moment there.
Only thing is, you got a wounded catcher on 2nd. I don't know if you can get him to 3rd here with a bunt.
Yeah, you'd have to bunt it right at Trevor Plouffe. And Turner, no signs of squaring around.
Look out down there, boys.
So a game situation here, 1-0 score, top 6. Trey 0 for 1 today with a walk in the series, 2 for 12. Trey had 5 hits in the series across the bay. A couple of steals. And a big spot to put the Nats toward a series win right here.
This is where the reports about Sonny Gray for earlier in the season, where he doesn't like to throw his curveball and bounce it with runners on and watch him advance. We'll see if he decides to throw it here, and if he's thinking that and does throw it, does he leave it up?
So you saw the quantum leap in his opponent's batting average first to second time around. So here we embark on the 3rd time today. And Turner will take it down and in. Good take. You always talk about that 1-1 pitch, whichever way it goes, being the real key to an at bat.
When you're struggling, you automatically swing at this pitch. When you're locked in, you're looking at one zone and you're looking to do damage. You swing because of the count when you're not seeing the ball well and hope that he throws a strike.
Turner to right center. That ball's well hit. Rajai Davis can only watch it off the top of the wall. We got 2 runners back to back coming home. Michael A. Taylor slows down so he doesn't run over Matt Wieters, and the Nats take a 2-1 lead into third base. Trey Turner.
That was awesome. He had to slow down. He's going to pass him like it was a race. Great read by Michael A. Taylor. He was right on the heels, and a nice swing by Trey Turner. He got into a count, did some damage. You're wondering, is this 3 runs or 2? But watch Michael A. Taylor. He knows it's going to hit off the wall. Here you go. This will be a good shot. And right around third base, it kind of gets fun. Watch this. So now he's running, and he looks up, and now he's drafting Matt Wieters, and he has to slow down right there, or he's going to pass him. And 2 runs score back-to-back on a double by Trey Turner. That was fun.
What a huge sign for the Nats. Trey Turner going the other way, doing damage. Brian Goodwin is up there. This is a long run for Davis. If he catches it, that's another run, and he has to. And so the Nats put 3 on the board just like that. Turner RBIs number 25 and 26. Goodwin number 6.
Wow, crickets for 5 innings, and all of a sudden action here in the 6th.
Now batting,
Walk.
number 34,
Give Matt Wieters credit for
Bryce
laying off the curveball.
Harper.
That's the key to this inning. Ball 4. Michael A. Taylor hitting a line drive to center that dropped. And then Trey Turner double. Brian Goodwin sac fly, and the fans here don't like sac flies.
Bryce Harper 0 for 1, a strikeout and a walk. Ball 1. So Trey Turner, 3rd triple of the year. Counts even. Ball 2 strikes. Harper swing and a miss, and a chance to beat it out. There's that Sonny Gray hard curveball in the dirt, and the Nats get a base runner on his 5th strikeout.
Yeah, hard curveball in the dirt. Hit Stephen Vogt where?
Number
Like
11,
in the wrist.
Ryan Zimmerman.
Maybe that play calling thing he's got on his left wrist, and shoots away. Bryce Harper, good hustle to first.
Now Zimmerman and Murphy, and by far longest inning for Sonny Gray. A couple of walks in the fourth, got a double play ball there. Fastball, outer edge. Zimmerman is swinging a miss and a pitch down and away. 2 outs on strikeout number 6.
Number 20, Daniel Murphy.
I feel like after seeing him twice that Daniel Murphy has a really good idea what Sonny Gray wants to do to him. I'll be a little surprised if this one doesn't go hard somewhere. Not necessarily a hit, but you feel like he's going to hit it hard.
He's going to stroke one out to center. Right there. Rajai Davis. How about some speed at the bottom of your order and then a great speed at the top of the order? Taylor gets the base hit that sends Wieters to second. Turner opposite field sends them both home. Take it easy, Michael. 3-1 Nets.
Now off to the Warriors game.
Don't take those bats into the basketball game, guys. Come on. Leave them here. Maybe some more offense for the rest of the day on Rickey Henderson Field here at the Oakland Coliseum. Now the focus on Tanner Roark. He's been rewarded by his teammates for good pitching today. 59 pitches, 39 strikes through 5. Rajai Davis, the number 9 man, going leadoff mode here. Lined out, and I mean hard, to Anthony Rendon first time up.
That's where you stomp on this game if you're Tanner Roark. I got this, it's mine, here we go.
Two 2-0. He's retired 12 for the last 13 A's since the Chris Davis double in the first. So if you go a little further, 15 of 17 retired in the game overall. And a breaking ball hit to left. Goodwin back at the wall. He's got it with a little landing area to spare for the first out.
So after that miscue in foul territory, Brian Goodwin has made a couple of nice plays. The slide and catch on the line, and then this one going back to the wall.
Joyce.
Kind of reaching out with his right hand to see where he's at. Didn't feel the fence. Knew he had some room. Nice play.
Top of the order, Matt Joyce, and then Chad Pinder. Leadoff double, second inning. Chris Davis. 2 outs later, scored on the grounder by Ryan Healy, and the only other base runner, this guy, Joyce, who walked last time up.
Good changeup, 1-0.
He really had the lefty pulling off that, didn't he? 1-1.
Well, third time around, here comes the kitchen sink. Fastball, changeup, slider. That's usually what Tanner does. Gives you all kinds of different looks. Tries to run back the heater with 2 strikes.
Perfect location with the heater. Tanner Roark, 3rd strikeout today. And that's 9 in a row.
Yeah, had him looking in and ran out of bat. You see the front shoulder come out, fastball away. So
Pinder.
a nice play by Brian Goodwin, a strikeout, trying to get his ball club right back in the dugout. That's what the good ones do.
Pinder, fly ball to left and 1 to center. He's been able to throw that hook anytime he wants to today.
Pitch number 70 coming.
Fly ball to right. Pinder's hit 1 to every outfielder. And for Tanner Roark, 10 in a row, 15 of the last 16. Great Roarks with our do-up for the top of the 7th. It's 3rd baseman Anthony Rendon. Came in hitting .410 over the last week and a half.
Warriors by 30 tonight. I'm calling it right now. 3-1 as we go to the top of the 7th inning. Kind of a big game next door while we're flying to Los Angeles. Hopefully we can see it on the plane. Flex your muscle and start working on your summer tan with the Flag Day Patriotic Tank Top that's presented by Budweiser. First 15,000 fans ages 21 and up on Wednesday, June 14th, receive the special giveaway commemorating the 240th anniversary of the adoption of the U.S. flag. Visit nationals.com/tickets for more details.
And so breeze is blowing in the East Bay today. Top 7, Rendon, Lind, Wieters. Anthony 0 for 2. And because of a couple of long innings, 2 of them totaling 46 pitches, that was Sonny Gray's 85th of the game. So the Nats getting some things done. 3rd time around the order. Vogt jumping outside.
I mean, Gray's done a nice job of keeping the ball down. He's taken advantage of a low strike zone from Scott Berry, who's called a number of fastballs right at the bottom or below. Good hack by Rendon. I think the one mistake he made more than all of them was the 3-2 curveball to Matt Wieters. Good take by Wieters, and that started the 3-run 6.
Yeah, big time credit to Matt. He had just gotten smoked in the on-deck circle with a bat. Gathered himself, caught a half inning, got up there and got that walk.
Thank goodness he didn't get speared by that thing.
1-2 pitch, and Rendon gets the count back even. Mets lost today. Everybody else in the division, Braves, Marlins, Phillies winning. Now the Nats lead is 10.5. Actually 10 over Atlanta. And Rendon gets his hands inside that one and flies it to left. Chris Davis.
Now batting,
Adam
number
Lindo for
26,
2.
Adam Lind.
Yeah, we talked to the PA announcer, Dick Callahan, here before the game, and that's not his voice that he talks to us with. He's just like, hey guys, how you doing? Nice to see you guys. So then all of a sudden, now batting, Adam Lind. Like, how does he do that? I want his voice, but his PA voice, not the one that we just talked to him.
Goes to the store.
Does he go into the sleep room or something and change his name before he goes on?
They might have one for the announcer here. Yeah. He's visualizing how he's going to sound like during the game.
Hey guys, what's going on? Some friends in DC. Can you say hi to him?
No, buddy, Adam Lind.
That's amazing, the transformation.
Target away by Vogt. Adam Lind trying to stay with that curveball, and then strike 2.
Maybe he just smokes a pack of throat rockets before he goes on the air real quick. I get that deep voice going.
There are some announcers who've been chain smokers over the years.
Supposedly good for your voice, but not good for your health.
Two. Nats have quieted down the ballpark today. First 2 games of the series with Bob Melvin's team at home. They've drawn 20,000, 8-1-3 and 23, 9-2-1. 2-2 to Lind. Adams going to take a close one, and the count goes full.
Super close. Might have caught a break on that just because Stephen Vogt had to reach across the plate. And then his glove went toward the ground and didn't really present that borderline pitch as a strike.
Sets up outside again. And Lind will hit it to the shortstop. That's Chad Pinder over there on the shift for the second out. The Nats road ahead, driven by your local Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyFirst.com. Gonzalez, that's Gio, and Ryu tomorrow night. Max Scherzer, Brandon McCarthy on Tuesday. A couple of night games at Dodger Stadium. Then the matinee. Steven Strasburg 7-1. Clayton Kershaw 7-2. Don't forget about the makeup game Thursday night against the Orioles before the Texas Rangers come in. Somebody brought Gio's old A's uniform to the ballpark.
I saw that earlier. I'm like, is Gio okay? Yes, he is. Thank you. All right. Scared me for a second.
Gio talks deeper when he's using his hands. 1-0, 2-0. To Matt Wieters, 0 for 1 with a very big walk. Got the Nats 3-run rally started in the 6th. Now the Dodgers got shut out of Milwaukee today. It cooled them off a bit. They had won 8 of their last 10 and had leapfrogged Colorado into first place in the West. Rockies leading at San Diego right now. It'll be a showdown either way when the Nats and the Dodgers play some big boy baseball for the next 3 days. Three-0. That ball drilled to center. Matt Wieters is going to take his time getting to first base, and that's okay with everybody. On for the second time today. He's 2 for 7 in the series.
Great at bat, good swing. Let's watch the line drive and then Matt Wieters run. That thing's tightening up, man. I hope he's okay. Nats can't afford to lose Matt Wieters.
Three of the 4 Nationals hits now in the last 2 innings. Michael A. Taylor had a big one after Wieters' walk. Michael could hit a gapper here and get a single out of it. Just hope Matt's okay. He was able to move around the bases from second to home on that Turner triple. There's their only lefty, Daniel Coulomb.
So I'm looking at Gio's career numbers against the Dodgers, and they're good. He's 3-1 with a 1.69 and 5 career starts. I thought they were good. That's why I took a peek. They're better than I thought.
Well, Tanner Roark can take care of the rest of his business today. Gio tomorrow, Strasburg Wednesday after Scherzer on Tuesday. So the Nats will go into LA with their big guns firing. Taylor, healthy hack. So Michael A in the series, 3 for 11. Base on balls, even that batting average in the 260, 270 range, and the Nats will love it if he can do that, replacing Adam Eaton this season. High tapper to the left side, fair ball, long throw, and the play goes to second because Matt Wieters just can't run right now. The Nats have stranded 3. They're starting to pile up in the parking lot for the basketball game. Hey, America's pastime's going on right now. Come on.
Tell him, Carp.
1-1-0 Athletics. Big inning here. Big. 3-4-5 for the Oakland offense. Led off by Jed Lowry. Tanner Roark, first pitch pop up out of play on his 72nd pitch of the day. Lowry into center. Taylor can't get there. Right off the fists. And that's only the second hit of the day by Oakland. Ends a streak of 10 consecutive batters retired.
Well, some Geico highlights show you the day that Tanner Roark is having so far. Told you that pitch count thing was going to go down. I mean, you just know Tanner Roark. You know he's going to be more aggressive in the strike zone. He's figuring things out. Got a nice one working here. 15 minutes can save you 50% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com to see how much you can save.
All right, power matchup here. Chris Davis. And that ball is trouble if it's fair. Hits the foul pole. And this game is tied.
How it always works. Chris Davis not supposed to be in the lineup today. And a late scratch. He's in there. A double, and now a home run to tie it. Just kind of hooked that ball out of here. It was up, and he let it fly. Just like that, we're tied. 17th home run of the year for Davis.
One behind Aaron Judge atop the American League. Bloop and a blast. Yonder Alonso is next. There's another guy who could hit it a mile. He's swinging from the heels, trying to put them on top. Athletics with their 83rd home run. Same number as the Nats, who lead the National League. They're third behind Tampa Bay's 88, Houston's 86 going into the day. Had him reaching, good pitch. Murphy there, came forward to get it. 1 out.
Tanner probably frustrated about the home run, but got Trey Turner
Designated hitter.
leading off the 8th, top of the order, so keep it right there. And you're hoping they can figure out a way to at least score one, maybe more.
Healy, pair of ground balls to short. One of them for a run batted in, second inning. It's only the 7th homer given up by Tanner Roark in 72 innings. They had Frankie Montas throwing, and now it's Ryan Madsen. Moving all over the place there.
Well, he hit 2 home runs yesterday with a pair of doubles and a big leg kick, and then the Yabba Dabba Doo thing coming around the box. He reminds me of Mark McGwire with his swing a little bit. Obviously a lot smaller than Mark, but there's some comparisons.
I agree. I was thinking that yesterday watching him in batting practice. Not just the number on his back, but the way the ball jumps off it. The way he gets there. They got some mashers in this organization.
Moneyball, man. Walk and hit homers.
Although their team on base percentage of 304, not something you'd make a movie out of.
No.
2-2.
All that stuff started because of Ricky Henderson. The high on base percentage, the slugging percentage. Just kind of model your organization after that. Sandy Alderson and then Billy Beane.
Out to short. That's 3 in a row from Healy to Turner. 2 outs. Bottom 7. So all tied up as we get into the 3 o'clock hour out here. Mount Davis in the distance.
Now batting the
A's
catcher.
16-11 at home. The Nats 18-11 on the road. 4-4 in interleague play. Trying to win a series and make this potentially a great road trip. Stephen Vogt, the catcher. Foul out to third. Fly ball to right. Murphy from the right field turf. Roark, 3 grounders after the homer. Tie game, top of the 8th. The speed of Turner, a couple of RBIs last time coming up.
Game, you definitely want Trey Turner leading off an inning for you. So here we go. Hopefully, a lot like his last at bat. And we'll show it to you. Go back to the 6th inning. StatCast being brought to you by Amazon Web Services. Check out all the traffic. It is the Bay Area, after all. So the ball hits off the top of the wall, and one red circle is going to catch another. It looks like the dot races here on the scoreboard. But 20.7 miles an hour, 12.3 seconds, a tip of the cap, and he just missed the home run.
He would score shortly thereafter on the Goodwin sac fly. Now with the Nats 2-run lead gone, here's Ryan Madson, Oakland's 8th inning guy. Sonny Gray, 104 pitches, 3 runs, 4 hits in 7 innings. Madson got them 4 outs yesterday in the 7th inning. 1 there and then 3 in the 8th. Faces Trey Turner for the first time. Whoa, look out. Way up and in.
Well, he's the one that hit Daniel Murphy in the knee yesterday, and he almost just doinked Trey Turner around the shoulders or higher.
heater in there. 2 balls, 1 strike. Base hit. It's into left center. Trey's going to round the bag here. Chris Davis gets to it, and Trey Turner comes alive. He was 2 for his first 12 in this series. Last 3 ABs: walk, triple, single. Game on.
Game on. You said it.
Goodwin.
Didn't even let me get there.
You've taught me too much.
That's a bad thing. Nice at bat by Trey Turner. See if he's off to the races, or if Dusty Baker decides to bunt him along.
Madsen got Goodwin on a grounder to short yesterday. Whole different situation here. Pitcher's got a lot to deal with.
I'd say swing away. We'll see what Dusty Baker decides. A lot of managers who bunt right here, and they're throwing over to see if Brian Goodwin is going to tip his hand. And that was Axford that hit Murphy yesterday, so check that.
Gave him the A move and Trey back in plenty of time.
I like the steal, then the bunt.
Sure.
You know, if all things work out the way Dusty Baker would like him to, maybe Trey Turner runs here early in the count, then you bunt him along. Take a strike here. Got a huge lead. He's going. Ooh.
Strike call outside edge. 0-1.
Tried to go. Got quick pitched.
Swing and a miss. 0-2 on an off-speed pitch. Huge chance for the Nats to answer here. They'll make contact now. It's a pitch out. Nothing happening.
Do you pitch out twice?
It's rare enough when they pitch out once anymore, isn't it?
It is.
Twice. Almost extinct.
Let's see if Bob Melvin does it again. Ooh, get lean going.
Three game, top of the 8th. There he goes. And Goodwin pulls the ball foul. Alonso coming forward, trying to get it while it was fair.
Boy, he had that base stolen, but if you're Brian Goodwin, you're protected with 2 strikes. You can't take anything. But what a jump by Trey Turner. It's a disadvantage of going late in the count, but maybe that's the only time that Madsen's given him a chance to.
Goodwin takes one upstairs. And the other element in the play here, you never know. Worst defensive team in baseball standing out there. And a guy in the batter's box and at first base putting a lot of pressure on them. 3 errors yesterday for the Ace, 58 on the year. Holding is Turner right off the end. Brian Goodwin's bat.
I mean, if you steal it, that guy ain't hit. But you're okay with Ryan Zimmerman being up there with runners on first and second. Throw over towards the runner, and then it got away. I think it got Trey Turner in the back. think Yonder Alonso fanned on this.
Target practice weekend here in Oakland.
Yeah, it got him in the ribs, it looked like, I think.
Goodwin to left. Toward the line, Davis. And the way he throws, I was expecting Trey Turner to possibly go back and at least think about tagging. He cannot throw from left field for the most part.
No, for all the part.
Now batting.
He really can't. I
Number
mean,
34,
you remember
Bryce
Ben Revere's arm?
Harper.
That's how Chris Davis throws. So, I mean, the positive there is Bryce gets to hit. If Trey tags up, then it's Ryan, which would have been fine too. But now Bryce Harper a chance to do some damage here in the 8th.
Harper 0 for 2, couple of strikeouts. Reached on the most recent one, a wild pitch and a walk. There goes Turner. Throw is into the runner, and Trey Turner is safe. Got to hold your breath these days, though, because sometimes they get a tag on the hitter, the runner's legs, or spikes on that throw. Looks like number 15.
I think he got in there. We'll check it out again together. Bob Melvin is given the hold up sign. I'm pretty sure the oven mitt or the fingerless left hand got in there before the throw. It really gives an umpire something to look at, right? That dark glove going in on the white base. And where's the tag? They're going to look at it.
Wow, the A's are going to challenge here.
That's a good freeze right there, boys. That's nice. I can't tell.
The previous Colombia attempt is now under review.
I think he's in there, but I think it's a good challenge in the 8th inning of a tie game by Bob Melvin, even if he thinks, hey, let's just throw it to New York and see what they say.
The only way they got Trey Turner last year was on challenges when they were tagging him on the leg as he was into second base with the rest of his body, it seemed.
Yeah, show me that last one again and stop it right when the tag. Okay. Can you tell where the hand is? Yeah, there you go. Now they're zooming in on this. So there it is. Wow.
And the good thing about it is the call did go the Nats' way. It has to be indisputable to overturn.
I can't tell where the tag is there. The definitive view is the one we showed you before, and I don't know if that's enough to overturn. They're taking a while, as they should. This is a huge call in a tie game in the 8th. What do you got, boys? There you go.
Stolen base number 15. A's out of challenges.
The ruling on the field stands. The runner is safe at second.
Good gamble by Bob Melvin, and just not enough to overturn it, right?
So 15th for Trey, 50th. When he came burning around the National League with 33 last year.
The fist pump, yes. Did you see that?
I got the call.
That might be the first replay that he's beat. I think that's what he's saying right there. That's the first replay that I've not been thrown out on. I think it was Matt Wieters that got him twice last year on replay, of all people, in Baltimore. Might have been back-to-back nights. Or maybe back-to-back attempts in the same game. I can't remember. They're all running together. This is a, hey, let's keep him close at second. Don't let him steal third. And what do you want to do with Bryce Harper talk? I'll tell you one thing Bob Melvin didn't say to his pitcher. Go right after Bryce Harper. Trust me, that was not said out there.
Ryan Zimmerman has 9 career hits, a homer, 8 RBIs against Madsen, but that's a righty-righty deal. The count is 1-0. Linder keeping Turner close so he don't think about, or doesn't think about, another bag.
Put him on. They did. You missed it.
Ball 3-4.
Can you show me the replay of that?
Bryce Harper, 2 walks today, 35 on the year. So now
Now
it's
batting,
9 for 23 Zimmerman. A homer, a walk, 4 RBIs career against Ryan Madsen. That home run came years ago in their first ever matchup.
Boy, just Trey Turner's speed is opening up holes on the infield. Yeah, you got to hold him close. So Jed Lowry real close at second base.
Inside with a fastball.
He's just a game changer, man. I mean, we talk about Bryce and Ryan and Murph all the time, but Trey Turner's speed changes a game by itself. See Jed Lowry having to pinch toward the base right now to keep him close. Bryce Harper's got a huge lead at first. He's watching Trey Turner should he go. And look at Madsen. He's stepping off and thinking about Trey Turner when he should be thinking about Ryan Zimmerman. Good stuff going on here in the 8th.
Well, there's a guy who used to play in this ballpark who did that to other teams.
Yeah. See?
Hayes defense, a lot of standing around through 3 hitters so far here in the 8th.
And you're 1-0 to a guy hitting 368 with 15 bombs in a tie game in the 8th, and you're worried about Trey Turner, as you should be, but maybe too much attention to second.
Inside, 2-0.
See? I think you got to let Ryan hit here in 2-0 count for Trey Turner. Don't even think about it.
Zimmerman out ahead of it as he hooks it foul.
Just enough run on the fastball where he pulls it foul. See that late movement? He's so quick, he's still got the barrel to it. I mean, if that ball stays out over the plate, it's 3 runs.
Turner's running, pitches low. Trey is in there, and he stays on the bag. And Harper to second on the back end.
It's good baseball, man. He let him have the 2-0 count, right? 2-0's yours. It gets to 2-1. I'm going to try to do some damage on the bases. He almost popped off of that base with that oven mitt. But a great jump by Trey Turner. Good read by Bryce Harper on the backside. Here's the slide. Did he stay on? No, he kicked him off.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Infield in. Ball game right here, right now.
3-1, second and third. Zimmerman to left field. See you later. Home run just around the pole. And the Nats lead 6-3. How about that for a comeback inning after the Nats lost their lead?
I mean, just the way that whole thing unfolded was just really amazing theater here in Oakland with Trey Turner getting on, stealing second base. Now you got to walk Bryce Harper. Then he gave him the 2-0 swing that had just enough movement to pull foul. Steals third base, and that one stayed out over. It's the same pitch, just a different zone. Maybe this one a changeup. Unbelievable the first half Ryan Zimmerman is having, folks. while you're jumping around your living rooms, go vote for him for the All-Star team.
Murphy swung at the first pitch after the homer. Takes that one. Ryan Zimmerman, 16th of the year. RBI total shoots up to 48. And his 33rd extra base hit.
I mean, what I'm thinking right now is just so many weapons, right? Trey Turner gets on, changes the whole dynamic and complexion of the game. Now, you know, Madson's thinking about Turner. He almost hung one to Zimmerman. He hit a foul. Turner steals third. And then you got a 3-run tater. Unbelievable the weapons that Dusty Baker has at his disposal right now with this offense. Unbelievable.
Nationals' 84th homer of the year. By the way, there's been no activity in the bullpen all along here, with Tanner Roark sitting at 88 pitches through 7. So it's his baby for at least another inning. Murphy. He jacks one that's hooking. Look out.
I mean, if you could make up a lineup on a video game, this is it. You got one of the fastest guys at the top. You got Thunder and Harper, Zimmerman, and Murphy. Not even talking about Jason Worth not being in there today. And you hang a changeup, and just like that, it's 6-3. Murph almost got hit again.
Three steals in a matter of seconds, including Harper on the back end. And then a 3-run swing by your cleanup guy. 3-2 to Murphy.
Little snack for all the effort.
Stole a couple of bags, had a sandwich.
Trey's mom pack him a PB&J.
Unassisted Alonso for the second out of the inning.
We got orange wedges and Capri Suns in there. Soccer has broken out here in Oakland.
And if the Nats win, they're all going to go to Dairy Queen on the way to the airport.
That's great. Got to keep that blood sugar up. I like it. Just did a lot of work out there.
New pitcher for Anthony Rendon here. The Nats take care of their 8th inning guy. And if you need expert printing, the UPS store has you covered. Together, there's nothing we can't solve. The UPS store. Call to the bullpen. Bryce Harper, the fear he instills, and a swing by Zimmerman forging the Nats a 3-run lead here. Frankie Montas, 3rd of an inning, gave up a hit to Ryan Zimmerman here on Friday night.
A fastball 98 miles an hour, slider change to go with it. Yeah, don't sleep on the Bryce Harper factor just being back today with that intentional walk. You know, he doesn't have a hit, couple of walks, couple of strikeouts, but that played into that whole deal too.
Rendon, a high fly ball, foul ground, plenty of it here. Yonder Alonso under it, and that's it for the top of the 8th. But what a frame it was for the Nats. Ryan Zimmerman, after fouling one down that way, kept it fair, right around the fair pole. 6-3, Washington. Lead with which to work for the first time today. And we like to remind you that RBI Baseball 2017 has returned. Fast-paced, pick-up-and-play MLB action, packed with all your favorite teams, players, and ballparks. Get RBI Baseball today for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and mobile devices. Learn more at RBIGame.com.
Pretty good DH you're looking at.
What a feeling. 3-run homer. Get to sit for a while. Watch everybody else out there in the field. So here we go, bottom 8. Tanner Roark against Trevor Plouffe. He gets the high strike call. 89th pitch of the day. Strike number 60.
You know, if Tanner can strike somebody out, you throw it around the horn, and maybe Trey Turner gets some jelly on the ball, and Tanner could use that to his advantage.
I don't want anything on his baseball right now the way he's throwing. Two to the leadoff man, 8th inning. Bouncer. Murphy on the charge. Tanner Roark continues to be brilliant today. 4 consecutive batters, ground ball outs since the Davis home run. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of the Washington Nationals. Beautiful day in Oakland. Longest inning, that 7th. Economics throughout the afternoon, though, for the Nats. 30-year-old right-hander who takes on Rajai Davis. Last time up, he hit a ball to the warning track, and Brian Goodwin made a good play. That's how good Roark's been today. You're facing an American League team. It's the bottom of the 8th in their ballpark, and their last batter is hitting for only the 3rd time all day.
Yeah, if Mark Canha didn't get sick and scratched, Tanner Roark could have a shutout going.
Mm-hmm.
That's who Chris Davis filled in for last minute.
2-2. Swing and a miss on some heat upstairs. Tanner Roark spacing out the K's today, his 4th. 2 down.
Little reach back too. Pitch number 97 from Tanner Roark. 94 miles an hour up in the zone and past Raj Davis.
Joyce.
Next up is Matt Joyce. Their leadoff guy 0 for 2 with a walk.
A quick out here, and this is all Tanner's.
And a ball drilled to left. Here comes Goodwin. He'll get it on the hop. Matt Joyce only his 2nd hit in the series. And the A's have a base runner with 2 outs.
Now, best thing about that, he kept it in front of him.
Number 18.
And that'll get some action going in the Nats bullpen. Guys are starting to stir, and I think I see Coda Glover getting up to toss. There he is.
Yeah. You don't want this inning to get to Jed Lowry, who's on deck. So Roark on the attack against Pinder. 0 for 3 with a fly ball to each outfielder. Started, then stopped.
I mean, this is so cool with the bullpens out in the open and watch guys' routines. How he's throwing short of the rubber. He was just throwing down on the grass. Now he's kind of moving back toward the rubber after he was, I don't know, about 40 feet from the catcher. You don't normally see this because they're back behind underneath, and we can't see what they do to get loose ever.
Because of the foul ground here, the bullpens seem further away than they do in San Francisco. I mean, they are really bunched over there. But
that's a good
yeah,
look.
2 consecutive ballparks where we get to see the bullpens. 2-1. Strike call. Roark back even.
Little backup curveball, maybe? Backup slider, I should say correctly.
Yeah, split the inside edge on pitchcast. 2-2 and Pinder upstairs. Washington area Toyota dealers, and 4 times 37 today. That donation of that amount to the Children's Inn at the National Institutes of Health for every K by a Nats pitcher. Toyota K's for kids. Drive to the gap in left center. Joyce can run, and he'll score here. Chip Hale sending him home. Trey Turner will hold it, and it's a 6-4 game.
Well, decision time for Dusty Baker with Jed Lowry walking up to the box. Do you go get Tanner or do you not?
Now batting second baseman, number 8.
Nobody on the A's except the guy who just scored, Matt Joyce, has ever faced Coda Glover.
Coda's loose.
So the tying runs in the batter's box in Jed Lowry, pardon me. 1 for 3. He dropped that little flare into center field, and he will not be facing Tanner Roark, who will go 7 2/3. Last 3 starts, 7 against Seattle, 7 against the Giants on the road, and 7 2/3 here at Oakland.
So Koda Glover's last outing was Tuesday in San Francisco. I'm just going to show you some of his recent successes. Confidence growing. And if I remember right, the last out he got on Tuesday was a strikeout of Buster Posey. And there it is. So going for a 4-out save right here, right now. 21st appearance for Koda Glover. You see the ERA, nice. Strikeouts to walk, nice. Opponent's average, nice. Fastball, slider, curveball, change. Fastball average at 96.
Nats by 2. Lowry 1 for 3. Binder sitting out at second base after his first base hit in 11 at-bats in this series.
Pair of fastballs at 93. Two shakes.
Lowry's bat well under that one. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I think he went fastball to a slider there at 93, and just enough break to miss the bat. Yeah, he doesn't have his express today. Fastball's been averaging 96. It's 3 at 93. That's okay, though. He has other weapons. Unlike a lot of closers, slider, curveball, and change to go with it. And all 3 of those pitches are pretty good.
Two. Ground ball, right side. Lynn to his right. Hits Glover on the fly to end the inning. Adam Lind, known for his bat, becoming known as a very solid first baseman for the Nats.
Did you see the reaction from Koda Glover? What a play by Adam Lind, and then the fist pump from Glover, pointing at his first baseman. He fires me up. We promised you earlier in the ball game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Geez, I wonder what we're going to make our Miller moment today. How about the changeup for number 16? And a 3-run lead at the time. And the whole sequence with Trey Turner on second base, The count to Ryan Zimmerman. And then the 3-run homer to put his ball club ahead. 3-3 ball game made it 6-3. It's 6-4 right now.
Frankie Montas walked Adam Lind when they matched up Friday night.
Make a great play.
You get to lead off. Wieters and Taylor to follow, top of the 9th. 2-run game. That was a big run for the A's because they got Davis and Alonso and Healy, their 3 power guys, coming up. But the Nats have some firepower in that arm of Coda Glover.
Well, you could have very easily made this our Miller moment because it's a 6-5 game with the runner on second base if that play's not made. You got a 1-run game with a tying run on second possibly, or maybe first. Who knows if that was a double? Probably not because he was going to his right, but it would have been a 1-run game with a tying run on.
Shift on. Lynn lays off that one low and in. Through the shift, yes. Lowry unable to get there, and Adam Lind gets a base hit. And in this series, he's 4 for 12. Not to mention on base 7 times with 3 walks. 6-game hitting streak for the Nats. Super reliable. 9th man, if you will, with the bat. Left field, first base, DH, whatever.
The Colonel getting it done. Lumber and leather today.
Yeah. Matt Wieters, a walk, a run, and a base hit. Another run or 2 would be huge with the Oakland due up, spot him 9.
That's where as a hitter you got a base hit, right? You're 1 for 2 on the day. You walk, scored a run, you go launch mode. I'm going to take a chance right here. Just come out of my shoes and try to hit a tater.
Best way to nurse a sore leg is with a home run trot.
A lot of guys say, oh, I don't try to hit him. I'm not always buying that quote. You're thinking it right here at least in a 2-0 count when you already got a hit. Yeah.
Yeah, he was selling out on that one. That wasn't take 2 and go to left.
That could have been a birdie.
Yeah, I'd say they're hovering, but it's borderline attack mode.
Yeah, they're getting fierce. They look like they have an agenda all of a sudden. One just flew by and was looking at my eyeballs.
2-2. Wieters, long ball right center. See you later. Way upstairs. And the Nats lead 8-4. Take your time, man. We got all day.
I mean, you know, this one's
Now batting,
a great
3,
lesson
Michael Taylor.
on toughness and why you stay in a baseball game. You know, a lot of guys shut it down when they get hit by a broken bat in the on-deck circle and can barely walk. But you feel like
Taylor's going to go deep left. See you later. Right up the stairway. And now the Nats lead 9-4. Taylor's second of the series.
I mean, you feel like the baseball gods paid back Matt Wieters for being tough and staying in this game, and then Michael A. Taylor Doesn't even give you a chance to finish, and he goes deep. Weapons upon weapons upon weapons in this lineup for Dusty Baker. Unbelievable, folks. Unbelievable.
Talk about thunder from down under. That's 3 RBIs in an instant from the bottom of the order here.
Do it, Michael A. Taylor. Number 6 on the year.
Number 7, Trey Turner.
Trey Turner taking a pitch.
So Michael A. Taylor was coming around first trying to see if that ball was out, and he kind of misjudged where he was and had to look back at the dugout and then a laugh. And everybody, he's talking to Davey Lopes right there. Maybe he was looking at Davey for the high five.
Swing and a miss on a big breaking ball. What happened there, Dan?
Guys, Michael was laughing as he was rounding the bases the entire time, and you showed him there when he was back in the dugout. Davey Lopes looked over at him when he was having a seat there on the bench, pointed to his eyes and said, "Hey man, come on, look at the base." He pointed to the bag. He was like, "You got to keep your eyes on it."
You know what that tells me, though? Michael A. Taylor wasn't watching the home run. I mean, he wasn't styling the home run. He was running hard in case that ball stays in the yard.
Yeah.
Got out by a couple of feet, and then he tried to find the bat.
They told me he could use a little GPS maybe, too. You generally do that as a hitter when you're seeing if the ball drops or not, right? You hit a line drive in the gap and you're kind of looking and you're seeing if the fielder catches it. Or you're seeing if it went over the fence, same thing. And then you're like, oh, there's first, because you're watching the flight of the ball the whole way, seeing if you have a tater or not.
Outside to Brian Goodwin. 0 for 3 sac fly today. That was a big play back in the 6th. Put the Nats up 3-1 at the time. And he launches one high in the air out to left for Chris Davis.
Ooh. That ball took a bad hop at the end. Did you see that?
Looked like it.
Whoa.
Johnny Holiday and Ray Knight getting ready for their Nats Extra Post Game Show, presented by W.B. Mason.
Now batting.
When this one's
number
over,
34,
and if all
Bryce
goes well, they'll be
Harper.
talking about a 5-1 road trip as the Nats head to L.A.
They don't like the Seagulls here very much.
One to Harper, and Bryce will stop his swing. Full count. Three-two to Bryce. Big gap right center. Out of play, off to the left. He'll take the walk. Bryce Harper walked for the 3rd time today, giving one more at bat to that DH guy named Zimmerman. 10 o'clock, the Nats at Dodger Stadium, first of 3. Gio 4-1, and as FP mentioned earlier, 3-1, 169 career against the Dodgers. That's what he did at San Francisco last time out. Typical Gio. In and out as far as the strike zone, but unhittable for the most part. We'll get you going at 9:30. That's extra tomorrow night.
.371.
Yeah, you go 2 for 4 and your batting average only goes up 3 points. That's how high Ryan Zimmerman's numbers are already. He was on that one, straight back and went. Zimmerman's done it again. Harper digging for 3rd, right in front of Chris Davis. He throws it high to the cutoff man. Pinder able to get a piece of it. Now the Nats trying for a 4 or 5 run 9th inning. And Ryan Zimmerman liking this DH thing. Everything but a triple today for the DH cycle.
I'm telling you, if you're Ryan Zimmerman right now, it's just you can't wait to hit again. You're kind of bummed that there's 8 guys in front of you. You wish you could take cuts, get up there and have like 10 at-bats in a game. Seeing the ball like a balloon. And do you pitch to Daniel Murphy here?
8th man to bat in the inning is Murph. Hitless today. It's okay, his teammates taking care of business now. The Nats into double-digit hits again.
So 374 now for Ryan Zimmerman after that hit.
Nats have 39 hits in this series. Murphy has 7 of those. All right, 40 hits, and he has 8 of them. That's going to make it 11-4.
It's 9-4. You can't pitch to Daniel Murphy there with first base open and 2 outs. You can't. And that's no knock against Anthony Rendon, who we know can hit, right? But you go with the right-on-right matchup, and you keep it a 9-4 game. And who knows if you figure something out on Coda Glover in the 9th inning. But to pitch to one of the best hitters in the National League, a guy that finished 2nd in the MVP last year, with first base open and a right hand on the mound, to me, you just can't do that. That's not good baseball.
Now the A's will have to go deeper into their bullpen. It's become a blowout in Oakland. hit list today in this parade, did you? So he checks in with RBIs number 39 and 40. 29-year-old right-hander Josh Smith for the A's. It'll be his 10th appearance in a very high ERA. 15 hits, 9 earned runs in 13 2/3. Anthony Rendon will be the 9th Nat to bat here in the 9th, and Wilmer Defoe will give Daniel Murphy the rest of the day off, pinch running and then playing second base.
Look at Coda Glover has to go get loose again down there.
And by the way, you can be up by 7 and it's a save, because it was a save situation when he came in. So he's going to go throw some more. Does he get to do his walk-up? Well, we're not home, so thinking maybe his walk-up music again. That's unusual. Hardly ever see that.
It's unusual to see 5 innings of no offense and then 11 runs from the 6th on. Three in the 6th, 3 in the 7th.
The Nats have reached double-digit runs for the 9th time this year.
5 in the 9th.
You know, Oakland's a pretty good hitting ball club with power. Yesterday was their first game this year with 10 runs. The Nats have done it 9 times. Crazy. Rendon 0 for 4 today. Anthony has faced Josh Smith before. 0 for 2. Smith with the Reds, 15 and 16.
Sluggers. Slugging.
And then talking about slugging. This was a 2-run game going into this inning. Rendon to left. Going back for it, Chris Davis. Hey, remember Matt Wieters and Michael A. Taylor? They batted early in this inning. After a Lind base hit, Wieters went yard for 2. Next pitch, Taylor solo. And the Nats have put 11 on the board today. Ball on Masson, brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. Proudly serving the armed forces and their families for over 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA. By Ocean City, Maryland. Put your vacation days to good use in Ocean City. Book now at OCOcean.com. And by the Virginia Lottery. Look for the game of the summer, the Corvette and Cash Scratcher from the Virginia Lottery. Matt Wieters Michael Taylor. And now Glover faces a couple of home run hitters in Davis and Alonso. But instead of a 2-run game, it's a 7-run Nationals advantage. That's the big hook. That's a swing, says Brian O'Nora down at first. Glover, 3 outs from his 8th save. Tying run was in the batter's box when he came in last inning. Looked like a slider up, and Chris Davis 3 for 4 today.
That Adam Lind play was huge. I know there's been a lot of fireworks since, and he doesn't make that dive and play. The whole complexion, even the top of the ninth, changes. The way Dusty Baker maybe handles things.
Sure. There's Alonso 0 for 3. And he takes an off-speed pitch into right field. Time since Cody Glover gave up back-to-back hits. So 2 on, nobody out. Ryan Healy is next.
Now batting.
Maybe trying to knock off some rust right now. It's been a while.
Ryan Healy.
Healy, 3 ground balls to Turner today. 1 for an RBI, and that curveball way outside.
There's 97, so knocking some rust off. Good velocity, good run on that fastball.
Another hit. Bases loaded, nobody out.
I know that look on Dusty Baker's face that we just showed, and he's wondering if he needs to get somebody else up right now. And after 2 hits and now 3, he's definitely thinking it. And Mike Maddox going to go out. And do we have some action in the bullpen? I think we do. He is not going to mess around with this one, folks.
Yeah, a lot of fresh arms down there. So Sean Kelly pops up.
Hey, that's a let's go. Here we go. Come on. We got a 7-run lead. But he's throwing strikes. It's not like he's walking guys. He's in the strike zone. Hey, 3 hits in a row. Get a ground ball.
Glover is through the dangerous part of their lineup in terms of power. It's the catcher Vogt, third baseman Plouffe, center fielder Davis. They do have a slugger on deck though, and that's a kid they called up today, Olson. Little tapper, third base line. Rendon, a play at first. Close and out. Vogt called himself safe. Brian O'Nora called him out. A run scores. It's 11-5.
He used his challenge, Bob Melvin did, but he's going to ask, can you please take a look at this for me nicely? This is the whole thing where you're out of challenges, but you still ask for a challenge, and it makes 0 sense challenge thing.
I know.
I thought he was safe. I got to admit it. We'll see on the replay. I could be wrong. Great play by Anthony Rendon, and he looked like he was by the bag on that replay.
Brother, here we go.
Safe. Easily safe. We got a situation brewing here in the bottom of the ninth.
The Athletics are challenging.
Yeah, Mike Aldretti kind of blocking off the foot on the base on that one, but I thought the other one showed him safe.
Was called out.
With this whole deal, there's no gamble in using your challenge at all. And being wrong and not having a challenge.
A correction, this is called a crew chief review.
The crew chief review. You can request those late, apparently. We've seen it happen before. I mean, this does give Sean Kelly time to get loose.
All right, still nobody out. Told you earlier they called up a slugger today, Matt Olson. 14 homers, 37 RBIs, 10 doubles in 46 games at Nashville. This kid's hit over 200 minor league home runs. He's only 23 years of age, out of the Atlanta area, Parkview High School.
You just want Coda Glover to have a clean inning. Obviously, that's not happening, but, you know, we just showed you the strikeout of Buster Posey to finish his last save. And, you know, that's got to be a confidence builder, right? Former MVP Buster Posey on the road, boom, strike 3, and then you come and get a big out here, you're all fired up, and then this happens in the ninth. So, you know, roller coaster on the confidence level. And hopefully get a ground ball and get out of here. At least get a couple of outs real quick. And maybe you don't come out with the same focus, so to speak, once your team puts up a bunch of runs. That's understandable, too.
Yeah, we've heard of young pitchers who sometimes have a hard time going in the dugout and then coming out for a new inning.
He's throwing strikes, and honestly, that's the most important thing, getting ahead in the count. He's gotten ahead to everybody.
Base is still loaded.
That's
that ball going out of the stadium.
That's the tip-off. Next door. How big is not walking Daniel Murphy all of a sudden?
Huge.
Be a 9-5 game right now. With the bases loaded, nobody out.
3-2 pitch here. Walked him. And it's 11-6. And Coda Glover's not going to get the save. That's he's going to take him out after 5 guys in a row get on base. Most unusual situation. Came in the 8th. Got a tough out. Back out for the 9th. Unable to get anybody out. Now it's going to be up to Sean Kelly. In some disbelief of his own. 4 hits, a walk. And seemingly had this one in the bag, and now there's a lot of work to do for Sean Kelly. With 3 men aboard, nobody out. And it's Kelly against Rajai Davis, who's 1 for 7 career against him. That's ball 1. So the tying run is in the on-deck circle here, which makes it a safe situation for Sean Kelly. First things first, get 1 out and take it from there. Davis a little out of control, unable to reach that.
Well, hopefully a learning experience for Cota Glover. He's not too happy right now. If you can take anything out of that there's no such thing as an easy save at the major league level.
Big pitch on a 2-1 count. And a pop-up. Short center. Taylor's under it. Runners have to stay. 1 out. Next up, Matt Joyce. Also 1 for 7 career against Kelly.
Now batting right fielder, number 23, Matt Joyce.
I don't know if Raj Davis saw a strike in that at bat.
No, the first 3 weren't.
Big out here in the 9th, looking for a ground ball and some handshakes.
Wow. Late dive on that, 83. Long ball to right. Harper going back. And this is an 11-10 game. 11-10.
Are you kidding me?
Well, right when you think the bullpen thing's all figured out, today happens. And you're thinking 11-4, crank up the bus, let's go to the airport and head to LA. Not so fast, my friend, as Lee Corso would say.
Chad Pinder, the hitter. RBI double last time. Kelly throws a strike. These two match up for the first time. Rendon, he fights an in-between hop. Throws him out, 2 down. It's going to come down to Kelly and Lowry. Jed Lowry is 0 for 2 career against Sean Kelly.
The 9th hitter of the inning.
Now batting.
It just more 9th inning drama. Not a big deal.
Lowry.
My scorecard's lopsided. The 6th inning on, there's all kinds of ink. Take a deep breath.
Well, you want this game to end before Chris Davis gets another AB. Kelly on the attack with a high heater. Lowry last time hit that ball that Adam Lind speared to keep it out of right field. Lind guarding the line. Swing and a miss on another pitch up, and Matt Wieters might stand straight up for this one.
I agree.
We've had 11 runs scored in the 9th inning here.
Make sure they're on the same page what they want to do. Everybody take a deep breath.
Albers and Perez.
Or hold your breath. I don't know. One or the other.
Time given.
Drama.
Play left side.
That's the center cut fastball. He wants that one back. Scoreless game after 5 innings today.
11-10. 1 strike to get, and it's outside.
1-0 game after 5. It felt like scoreless. My lopsided scorecard.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Popped him up. Anthony Rendon. What's the difference? 1-0 or 11-10? The Nats win the series.
About 16 gray hairs, but who's counting?
That's okay.